Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad to see you on here. For those of you who are here today, tonight, and those that are also on the replay. That's right, over there on YouTube, on Facebook, Black Women Walking in Power, my Late Night with Travis Michelle show, and my Travis Michelle business page. Thank you so much for popping in. As you know, we're here every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes I will have some guests on, and sometimes it will just be you and me and you and we while we discuss certain topics. I'm just working on my more format, trying to change some things, so we'll play with it. But what I want to make sure that you know where that you can find me on Instagram at Travis Michelle, LinkedIn at Travis Michelle Clubhouse. Tilted Crowns is my house that I've had for a couple of years, and we're going to be active again in there. As well as here, I have my YouTube channel, and I will be putting the YouTube link, y'all. There it is at Travis Michelle 7251. So you make sure that you click that link. I need some subscribers. Now they do. I love this. I need some subscribers. I'm going to be doing different types of series on here, talking about different things going on in my life, in the world. And for example, my house got flooded. Yeah. And I'm under renovation. So I'm in an apartment right now, really nice apartment, but I'm in an apartment, and just the process with the insurance company. For those of you who know and those of you who don't, I'm also a cervical cancer warrior. Yay, I'm on the other side of treatment now, rebuilding my body, my mind, my soul, my spirit, my everything. And just what does that look like, having a hysterectomy as a woman of color and going through this journey? It is different. You know, I can say that because I'm a woman of color, and I also am a registered professional nurse. So what is it like to be a healthcare provider and then you are diagnosed with cancer? Yeah, what does that look like? So they're going to be different topics. And you guys, if you have some suggestions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section also. In the meantime, please share this out to other, to your social media crew. Okay, share this out to your platforms. Let people know that we will be on here every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, good. So let's get down to this. We're not going to be here that long tonight, but I feel it's really important. As we know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? But actually, every day is mental health awareness. But it's nice that they gave us the whole 31 days, right? That's cool. Yeah. All right. And since COVID, we know that more and more people are acknowledging that they just need some help. We need that extra help. Look, I believe in the Lord, but faith without works is dead. And I need to also hear from God by somebody sharing with me. But you have to find, how do you find that therapist? How do you acknowledge that you even need one? How do you know that you need extra help? Yeah, think about that for a minute. How do you know that? One, you have to have some kind of self-awareness. Sometimes the self-awareness is your friends telling you, like, I think maybe it might be good for you to speak to someone. For instance, myself, I've been through therapy. I've dealt with a lot of things that happened in my past, all of that good stuff, right? Oh my gosh, I have like everything popping up. I thought I had myself on silence, but clearly I didn't. Anyhow, that's what happens when you go live, and I just love it. So I don't try to be perfect. We'll talk about that because that adds extra pressure on you as well. But anyhow, sometimes, you know what? I'm going to segue in from one thing to the other. And you know why? Because I can be honest with you. Because sometimes I just have that brain fog from having chemotherapy, and it'll just show up. And I just kind of lean in and roll with it. That's a part of helping yourself doing mental health. But we'll get to those tips and tricks in a minute. But going back to how do you recognize that you even need help? Yeah. Sometimes we have to hit rock bottom. We have to have something major happen to us and then say, this ain't working out for me so well, right? I need to do something about it. So this is when it's so important to recognize, like, getting in shape, that looks good, right? Yeah, you got to be in shape. Getting your skin done, nails and hair, and going on trips and the massages and all of that. And you can still feel like crap because you haven't dealt with what's up here. And as my grandma always says, the tail follows the head. So when we haven't dealt with here, if we haven't been present and not acknowledge that we have some crap, some ish going on, what's going to happen? We're just going to repeat that cycle. So what I want to do first and foremost, and hello, thank you for those who are coming on. I see you. Put your name in the chat so that I will see who you are. And if you haven't registered with StreamYard, it doesn't let you do that. I will go back on Facebook and acknowledge everyone. So thank you, because I think it's important that people are acknowledged. But I wanted to give you definitions, not doing too much science here, but I think it's important that when we talk about mental health, that we describe it, because people throw these words out and assume that everybody knows what it means. And guess what? Even the CDC, World Health Organization, Substance Abuse and Mental Health, SAMHSA, have their own definitions. So I'm going to go with World Health Organization first. And mental health is a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, learn well. Did you hear that? That you're able to cope with the stresses of life and the abilities, right? So that's from World Health. Then we have SAMHSA. What is mental health? It's mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. I'm going to add that it includes our financial, it includes our sexual well-being as well, right? It affects how we think, feel, act. So think about that when we just say, oh, mental health, but is it a well-being that we're talking about? Or is it that we're having an issue? So when we want to have mental health, we want to have wellness. And sometimes we're as well as we can be. And what does that look like for everyone? It looks different. You may have, for myself example, I have gone through therapy. I had a traumatic childhood and I needed that, but I had to be aware of it. No one really told me that, but I realized, because I was bookworm, that I don't want to continue the same trajectory that my parents did. So how was that going to happen? I needed to get help. I needed to talk to someone. And fortunately for me, the people around me supported that as well. And regardless, I was going anyway. So I'm like, okay, so now you diagnose with cervical cancer, right? I'm like, okay, I got this. I have my tools, because I have my tools in my chest, my tool chest. And my girlfriend, Michelle Benjamin, who's also a cervical cancer warrior, stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, she was like, girl, you need a therapist. My neck went rolling. I'm good. I can handle this. I got my tools. She says, you need a therapist. So instead of arguing back and forth with her, and you know what? She's where I was going. So I got a therapist. And I can tell you that it is so important, because when you hit those lows, it's nice to have someone to talk to who isn't trying to, like, you can call your friend, your spouse, your whoever, you're that friend, that bestie, your ride for life. I don't have ride for guys. I have ride for lifers, but they want to protect you. They don't want you to hurt. They want to help solve your problem. And sometimes all you need to do is vent. It ain't about solving it. You just need to get that off your chest. And you sound it out and go, oh yeah, maybe that's not the best decision. And then you don't want it to come back to you all the time. So having a therapist, you can really delve into what your issue is. And you don't try to solve all of them at once, but you take that one that's pressing on you at this time, and they go into that with you. So I also want to make sure that during the broadcast tonight, you never know, Sometimes I might say something and it might trigger you. So uh, I don't want to do that and leave you out there because it kills me. We go on and we talk about mental health, we have shows, we do all this stuff, but then there are no resources. What do we do? We just leave you hanging? Absolutely not. Okay. So the mental health hotline is 988. It used to be a long number and I had it all memorized. And thank goodness somebody said, people ain't got time to dial all that when they're having an issue. Let's give a short number. And so it's 988. If you're having a crisis, if you need to talk to someone right then, mental health crisis doesn't necessarily mean that you want to kill yourself. It may mean I need to talk to somebody before I strangle somebody, maybe. Okay, I curse them out, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to do harm. For instance, working as a registered nurse in NYC during COVID, that was stressful, no matter where you were. I'm just saying, I'm talking about myself. And sometimes you can't come home and tell your family what you've seen, what you've been through. They're already stressed enough. So who do you talk to? And then, yes, you can talk to your colleagues, but you also need to have a release because now we're just compounding our feelings and it's not going anywhere. We don't have any solutions. And sometimes the solution is just to vent, have validation, and move forward. So having that 988, yes, I did. I had to call it. Went in, meaning cuss, scream, whatever. And it was like, okay, good. And now you can go back the next day on your job as a police officer, in that teacher in the classroom. Okay. We forget about those. Yeah, it's tough. And think about the people that went to work in Atlanta, Northside Clinic, expecting to come home, and they are now in the hospital, and one of them is deceased. And people don't think about the type of jobs that they have and how stressful they are. Sanitation workers, let them block your street and you decide to turn that corner. I'm talking about New York. And there's a big truck there. You tapping, huffing, puffing, telling them move over. Don't you see there's a space over there? Can't you move that truck? People start building up, getting upset. And there's so many other areas. They can get hurt. What about the traffic police? Meter maids, as we call them, we used to call them in New York. And they walk around waiting. It's like they hide. And as soon as that meter, boom, goes on red, they're running out to your car. And some of them get beat up. You just don't know. A cashier, we think about just the police, just a nurse or a doctor. No, what about that cashier? Maybe she's going too slow. Maybe she didn't acknowledge you. Maybe she's put your eggs on the bottom and put your heavy food on top, and you had it out and now you want to snatch her up. There's so many stressors out there. So we need some way to decompress. Before coming on here, hi to Ray Queen, how are you? Nice to see you. So before coming on here, I had to take time for myself, right? That mental health, I had a lot going on with my business. Just hired a social media manager. Y'all got to be over there on my Instagram. I'm going to have some stuff going on, and just really excited to get my message out as a woman empowerment speaker. And I had to realize I can't do it on myself. I've been trying. And you know what they say insanity is? Do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And people were telling us during COVID, oh, you can do it yourself. Stop. Stop being so lazy. You got to put the work in. If you don't put the grind in, grind, right? If you don't work hard, and then you're made to feel, because you keep hearing the same thing over and over again, that you're not good enough. There's something you're doing wrong. No, you know what? I realized my brain capacity, I just can't. I have so many other things going on. So I'm going to have to sacrifice, cut some corners, and pay this social media manager so that I can have my journals sold, so that I can get that message out, so that I can serve my audience. If y'all hear heavy breathing in the background, I have a standard poodle here, and I have a 5-pound toy poodle here. And for some reason, they're snoring really loud. I don't know. I guess their allergies messing with them. But anywho, so I had to realize for my mental health, I needed to go ahead and hire. someone. And I had been following this person. I'm going to shout her out, Social with Rocky over on Instagram. And when I tell you, doing that and now looking at what is going to be coming out has like a weight off my shoulders. And I'm giving you my examples, but I want you to think about things in your own life, because I can't think of everything that's going on in the world that might be an example, right? So I want you to put yourself there. I don't want you to concentrate so much on mine. I want you to really stop and think, what is it that I can take a load off myself, right? Because look, I'm a Black woman. I'm a registered professional nurse. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mother. I'm a grandma. Yeah, I know. I look good. You know what I mean? I'm a New Yorker. Those are stressors. Not saying they're all bad, because there's good stress and then there's bad stress. There's distress, which is the bad stress. And then there's eustress, which is good stress. Fight or flight. Don't stand there and get punched. Move, you know? But there's so many things. And we don't take the time to separate. We don't take the time to say capital N, capital O. End of sentence. No, my screen did not freeze. I wanted to make the point. End of sentence when we say no. And it's a way to say no, because sometimes you don't want to like seem so harsh. Oh, you know what I would say while I was going through my treatments? Sorry, I don't have the bandwidth right now. What I was saying was, get the F up out my face and my space. But I didn't want to say it that way. So I said, I don't have the bandwidth right now. Oh, you know what? I don't think I can add that to my schedule. There are ways we can get to say it where we can spare people as much as possible until they really push us. Let's just be 100 right over here. But that also releases you from that obligation. For instance, we talk about our cup half full or our cup full. Oh, I'm going to pour from my cup. I'm going to pour into people, right? And it sounds good. We're going to pour into people. But there was a young woman who said I was on I don't even remember which app. I think it was on Clubhouse, but anywho. And she says, no, why don't we stop pouring? You know, why don't we give people our overflow? And I was like, wow, right? Overflow, right? I'm going to show Tere's comment. I'm so excited. Yes. Show? Right. Tere says it's good to have help and delegate tasks. Yes. Do you see this beautiful queen on here? And she's on the cover of a magazine. I'm just saying, what? She's snatched up. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. Ask for help. Before we go back into that one, yes, ask for help. Delegate. Rocky, yeah, you know what? Can I have that discovery call? Thank you. It was a discovery call. I was just discovering that, hey, I'm ready. But you know, that's how we had to get started, so that she could interview me, and then I interview her. Although we had already vetted each other, we knew. But it's important that we do that. You need to vet people in your life, not just going when you're getting a job, not only when you're looking for a babysitter, that kind of thing. We really need to vet throughout our lifetime. And then we learn to delegate. And that's tough. I mean, it's easy to say it, but I'm like, I got to give you my password. That means you get to post in my Instagram and Facebook, you know, but because I trust her and she has a proven track record, she's like, don't worry about it. They posted a few things. She says, that's okay. We'll ask for your approval first and keep you involved. That's what makes the difference. Again, I was able to decompress, but I also had to say what it was that I needed. Mental health. Mental health isn't just a buzzword now, right? Which it is a buzzword, but I'm just saying there's more to it. It's meatier than that. How do people know how to treat you if you don't tell them and show them? How do people know when you've set your boundaries, you've reached your limit? Unless you tell them. a lot of times we're in charge of our own mental health. There are things that happen that are out of our control, absolutely. But most of the time we're in charge. We just choose to ignore it. Oh, that's not so important. I'll get to that later. If you're a mom, oh, it's okay what I look like. I got to make sure these kids have. I got to make sure they do. And your hubby, your loved one, whatever, everybody else, the job, the cat, the dog, right? And you looking busted and disgusted. And then you're angry that you're looking busted and disgusted. You're angry and you're snapping at people and you can't figure out why. It's like really? It's because you haven't taken time for yourself. It's because you've put too much on your plate. And there are times when we are going to be a little overloaded because that's just an emergency happens. But everything is not an emergency. Talking to myself as well. Okay. So remember, when I'm speaking to you guys, it's not like, oh, I've just arrived and I got it all together. Some days I do. Boo, it's yes. And then the other days where I'm like, whoo, hot to the mess. Okay. And that's where we have our tools. That's where I need to step back a minute, right? I got to take a minute and just breathe. I have to take a minute and think this through. As Teresa, and I love this engagement, y'all. Come on. I love it. Love it. Teresa says, I like that. I don't have the bandwidth right now. She says she's going to use that. Yes, Queen, use it. I don't have the bandwidth right now. We treat people how to treat us. And a lot of times, not all the time, because nothing is all the times, every time, everybody, as people say all the time. It's really not true. It happens occasionally, right? It's some. Sometimes it can even be most. But we have to put ourselves first. And y'all know I'm big on that. Priority number one. I talked about it for years, say it to my patients. I've been a nurse 27 years. And yeah, I know I don't look like it. Oh, I think this is the 28th year, actually. And guess what? I wasn't doing it. Oh, yes, you have to take care of yourself. Make sure you eat right. Okay, decrease your cigarettes by just 2, instead of trying to just say quit. Decrease that. I can tell people how to deal with stuff. Okay. But then looking at me, I got to run. I got to do this. I have to go over here. I have to make this one happy. I have to make that one happy. Oh, what can I do for you? I know y'all looking at me like, not me. Yeah. Travis Michelle, former people pleaser, because I wanted that love. It's not that I wanted the attention, but I wanted the love and the acceptance. And it reaches back to my parents. It does, right? So because of that, I sacrificed what I wanted. And while you're busy trying to please everybody else, believe and trust and believe, they still are not happy. And when you sacrifice for them, sometimes you go out of your way and they're just going on with their business. Yeah. So we have to, it's really important that we pour into ourselves first. Love that, Teray. Absolutely. You have to pour into yourself first. Moms, we need to change that language where my kids come first. Dads who say, my kids come first. No. You come first. You heard it. We've heard it 100 million times. When you're on a plane, put your own mask on first, then help other people, right? Because if you don't, all of you pass out, all of you die. And that's not helping anybody. So how are you helping your children or anyone else when you don't put yourself first? But we're taught, all right, I'm raised in the church. I believe in the Lord. Hey, that's why I'm here. He said, I shall live and not die. So don't get it twisted. Okay. But in church, a lot of times it's, oh, forgive everybody. Oh, you got to forgive them, forgive the whole world. But not many times are you told you must forgive yourself first. Or even we see it as an example. See, when we make ourselves a priority, it's not being selfish in a bad way. It's being selfish in a good way. Because, we want to be selfless. Oh my gosh, we want to be selfless. You want to be a martyr. Martyrs are dead and you're alive. So how about you be a good example and role model for you? And that's putting yourself first. But what does that really mean? Because again, put yourself first. It sounds good. You walk away, still don't know what the heck that means. That means no is a complete sentence. That means you look and prioritize your schedule, your life. What makes you happy? And this takes work. So I'm saying it as though it's, hey, once you do it, it's boom, boom. Absolutely not. It does not happen overnight. But I do have a tool for you. I developed the walk method, and I'm sharing it not about just trying to sell my journal, but because it's transformative and because I am my own receipt and testimony. And I've used it my whole life, going through so many traumas. And the W is the willing participant. We started this off with, tail follows the head. I told you my grandma says that. It does. Because if you don't acknowledge that you need help, if you don't acknowledge that you need change, positive change, it ain't going to happen. You might think it's going to happen. You might do it for him. You might do it for her. You might do it for the children. But somewhere along the line, they're going to disappoint you. Somewhere along the line, you're going to get pissed off. Somewhere along the line, they're not going to be there. Not that they've left you, but they're just not there. And you may need to do. And where do you get that strength, that resilience from? So you have to have it. So you have to be the one to say, hey, I need a change. Some stuff's a little funky here, right? That's that W. The A is the action steps. You have to look for a therapist. You have to look for a gym and maybe hire that personal trainer. Do you get what I'm saying? Action steps. You have to stop and write down what it is that you think you need. What is it that, your pros and your cons? What is it that I need to work on and change? Because we can't change other people, but you can change a child's diaper. You can change a tire. You can change the channel, right? You can change your clothes, but you can't change someone else. But you can change you. And when people say, you can't teach old dog new tricks, that's not true either. And it's a catchy saying, and then we say it, and then you believe it, and that's what you think, that you can't change. You can. And you have the opportunity until you close your eyes for the last time and take your last breath. And everybody doesn't have to believe in you, but you need to believe in you. And then we come to that L, which is love yourself. Again, the buzzword, love yourself. Walk away. What does that really mean? Well, it means freedom. First, you're forgiving yourself. Take one thing at a time. Forgive yourself. I had to forgive myself. And this is a biggie. I say it all the time, but it's already out on New York Presbyterian Columbia's website. So, I'm past the embarrassment of it all, but I did it. I put it out there because I needed it to help some other women. But I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. And when they asked me, so when was the last time you had your gynecological checkup? Wow. I was like, a long time. I didn't want to say. I was embarrassed to say. And it had been more than 10 years. Yeah, I know, I'm a registered nurse. I've had every other test known to me, HIV, everything. But I wasn't going for that. And that's because of a trauma I experienced. So it was too traumatic for me. I would go, but it was so traumatic, I stopped going. I had to get past that. I had to be a willing participant. I need help. Only way I'm going to get it, I got to do chemo, radiation, and whatever else they tell me I got to do. 8, action steps, find the right team, go and get a second opinion. I'm just walking you through it so that you understand clearly what the walk method is. L, I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive me for not going to the doctor. I had to forgive me and not beat up on myself. Girl, see, this is why it happened, because you ain't go to the doctor, blah, blah, blah. And it was advanced. You have 4 stages. I had 3B/C. It was right on the edge. It was trying to step out, like your cervix. And it was, say you have us like this. Well, it was like this wide. It was huge, the tumor. And they were like, it was trying to press its way out. And then it would have been all through my body. Caught it in time. Right? But I had to forgive myself. And once I was able to do that, you can't say nothing to me. Oh, you should have gone to the doctor, blah, blah, blah. You can't say nothing. Doesn't matter, because I'm here now and I forgave me. Right? And in doing that, it freed me up. So when I did go to the doctor and I had my team with me, some on the phone, some there in person, I was able to be an active participant in my treatment. I didn't have that block of, oh, woe is me, what, because I don't have time for that. I've forgiven myself. It wasn't easy, but because I do this so often, it was trained, it was habit. And then that redemption part was I was just boom, right after. I didn't even think about what I had to do, because if I thought about it, like now I'm here thinking about what I had to go through and thinking, how did I get through it? Right? But I had to be laser focused. And then K is kicking butt unapologetically. I can get on here and tell you this, my story, my testimony, to help someone else. I'm not ashamed of anything that I didn't do because, leading up to, right? It's being proud of who you are. That's that kicking butt unapologetically. So that is just an example of that walk method. It might be a divorce for you. I don't know, right? Thank you so much, Teray. Thank you for coming in. She says she'll sign off and she'll continue watching. Good. That's why we have replays. That's why it says recorded out there for the world to see. But with that walk method, you have tangible action steps. That's part of mental health. And something I haven't really shared on internationally, because this does go out internationally. It's on YouTube, right? And it's all over the world on Facebook. But I became a certified mental health coach and advocate at the Greenheart University. So when I'm sharing this information, not just as a healthcare worker, registered professional nurse, it's also as a certified mental health coach and advocate. And I'm a mental health first responder. Yeah. Because I just feel it's so important as a woman empowerment speaker, as a speaker, that if I go out and I'm speaking and someone is triggered and they're having a crisis, not that they want to kill themselves, but they're just having a crisis, I want to be able to give them resources, not solve it, not be their therapist. I is not a therapist, y'all. Okay. But I am a resource. I want to be able to do that, because it's time that we start taking accountability for our actions. That's mental health, wellness. Yeah. Taking accountability for what it is that you say and you do. Now, sometimes, I'm going to say stuff because, that's how I feel at that moment. It's not that I'm lying about it. So, but you got to if I stop and just give you a look and a little back it up. Okay. Because then you're going to push those buttons, right? And we have to know what those buttons are. How do we find those buttons? How do we know what they are? It's because we put the work in. Some on our own. We know that child that we got that one nerve dangling and they just went and snapped it, right? Teenagers will do that to you, especially, your significant other, etc. Someone at your job. But we're responsible for how we respond. And that's mental health, wellness, and it's awareness, right? Doesn't mean you're always going to do it right. Sometimes, for instance, going through treatment and people are like, oh my goodness, you're always coming in here smiling. I did, but I had to work to get to the treatment smiling. I didn't wake up that way. I didn't. But I knew I had to put myself in a certain frame of mind, mental health awareness. So I would wake up, have my prayer with God, and then while I was getting dressed, because I wore makeup, y'all. I did stop wearing eyelashes because it just took too much and I had no energy. But I did. I came out, I had, minimum, but I had my lips done. Even though I had a mask on, I had to come out. I was dressed and everything, smelling good every day. And I had to do 25 sessions of the first part of radiation. And I listened to the song, Encourage Yourself. And I had to look in the mirror. And I just let that song play over and over and over again. And later on, when I had other treatments, I played Mary J. Blige, Good Morning, Gorgeous. That's part of mental health, wellness. We talk about affirmations. They are important. I am beautiful. I am good. But what actions are you putting behind it? Just saying it's not enough. But I will tell you, words are powerful. So you keep saying it, it seeps in, right? Because what we tell ourselves is reality. Your perception is your reality, even if to me it's not. It's about you. It's your awareness for your mental health. And I come at it from a different perspective. A lot of people will give you a lot of statistics about this community, that community, and all. And those are important. I just choose to get right to the grit. I want you to have tools, and I want you to have them now. I don't want to take 10 years before we get it. Every win is a win. So when we were talking about the journal, this is where you can go and get it on Amazon. And, writing this journal is supposed to be an online course, and it will be an online course coming to you soon. But I was so determined because I had said prior to diagnosis that I was going to publish a book. That was my goal for the year. I didn't want it not to happen. It almost became like this wild, in my brain that I just had to do it. That it was so important. I didn't know how it was going to get done. I didn't know what treatment was going to look like. Even though I'm a registered nurse, people don't tell you exactly every step as they're going because they're there to see the doctor and I'm assisting them. And we're dealing with certain areas, not the whole aspect. So I didn't know what to expect. But I can tell you one thing. I knew that I needed to get this message out. So between Tiffany Tichy, who helped me with publishing, and my daughter, Sasha, it's my girl, my only daughter, she was pushing me. My friend Monique pushing me. Like, look, you said you're going to get it done, then get it done. Talk about wanting to punch people in the throat. I did. I wanted to so bad. But that's what I said. And so you have to have that circle also. Who's in your ear? Who's telling you what? And that's how this came about, the 30-day journal to help you gain back your confidence one step at a time, right? And this is where I go through, and because you get to write in here. See, it's not about you. And when I talk about it being priority number one, this is not how it was supposed to look. I wanted a picture on there, a woman with a hat and stuff. And my daughter is my audience. She's my avatar, one of them, right? And she's like, Mom, I don't want to look at somebody else. It's about me. If I'm going to write, I need to not think about somebody else's face on it. She's a little tough. She's a New Yorker too. So I was like, ooh, be gentle with me. But they said, you told us you wanted to do this. And see, for me mentally, I needed to do it. And there are things that people can tell you, but what do you want? And yes, some of it may sound like it's unattainable to other people. So what? Other people are like, oh, wait until after treatment, wait until you've gone through everything and you get your strength back and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? There would be no journal. It wouldn't be out there yet because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But because I held on to that, it came to fruition. As I was laying on the couch, I'd come back from radiation treatment, my 3rd week of chemo and radiation, didn't know who I was, where I was. I was looking crazy. I literally could make it into my door, let my little doggy go to the bathroom, and I was done until the next day when I had to get up and do this all over again for treatment. But it helped me mentally to know that I was helping other people, that I would be giving back, because I have this tool that I have used that has helped save my sanity and my life. It was so important to help others. You ever have that kind of mission? Well, you need to have that kind of desire for yourself. And I'm here to share with you that, yes, it's okay to put yourself first. In fact, you know what? You have to. It's a must. I don't like to say you have to do anything except, in our culture, we say stay Black and pay your taxes, and not in that order. But you have to start putting you first so that you can reach out and help someone else. And so I had to say, I can't try to please everybody anymore. I have to stop. And do you know how uncomfortable that is? Mental health wellness is not always nice and warm and fuzzy. Sometimes it's really tough, right? It's challenging, especially because we're not used to doing that, because we're made to feel bad about placing yourself first and called selfish. Well, there's good selfishness, right? Sometimes it's healthy. A lot of times it's healthy, right? Usually the person who's saying that wants something from you and you decided to say no. And so now they're going to try to, shame you, guilt you into it. But anyhow, yeah. So putting yourself first comes with so many benefits. One, like I said, look, got this journal out. I felt so accomplished, right? And it wasn't accomplished for me. My journey is mine, and you don't want my journey. I'm just saying. But my testimony is for you. If you're on your job and you're that teacher, you went through school, you had to go and get your high school, your bachelor's, your master's, some people their doctorate, certifications, extra classes, CEUs, move to another state, all of this stuff. You're not doing it because you're going to be a millionaire. A lot of times teachers do it because that's what their passion is. They want to serve. They want to make a difference in that child's life, or that if they're a professor, right? You're doing it for someone else. And that's great. Also, remember, you need to take a break. That's the tough one. Mental health awareness, wellness, rather, taking a break. Saying, yeah, I can't do this right now. I'm not going to do this right now. And then not allowing other people to bully you into it, to guilt you into making those changes that you're not ready to change because you said, my cup is full. I can't handle anymore. I need to push back from the table. Look, I need to go and sit in the room and take a breath. I need to go on a long ride in the car. I need to maybe go, if you can, on that vacation. I need a mental health day. When I was a nurse leader, and I was very clear with my staff. Granted, my directors wasn't so happy with it, but I would tell them, rather than coming in here and mistreating patients and snapping on us, and you need that day off for your mental health, I need you to take it. And this is before we're like now the mental health days, okay? And they would look at me like, you gonna tell us that? Really? I said, yeah, because it's important. And while you're at it, since it only counts as one, take 2 days. Because if you take a day at the beginning of the week and then realize you needed more time, and you take another day separate, like with more than 24 hours in between, that's 2 absences. So why don't you just take the 2 woosah, do whatever it is that you need to do for your mental health, and then come back. Now, granted, it meant we work short sometimes. Yes, granted, it meant that I was out there in my heels and everything and had to get up there and help change bedpans and everything. And I was that type of manager. Yes, it did. But in the long run, the benefit was, thank you. I really needed that time. Or their child or their family member needed that time. And they just needed to like handle their stuff for themselves, for their families, and for them. I'm going to ask that right now we do some breath work because I've been doing a lot of talking. I'm going to have guests on here, but right now I'm just doing some talking. I'm just saying. So what do you do when you're ready to explode? Like you can't take it anymore and you just about ready to like, I'm right in that throat, right? I want you to sit back, unless you're driving, depending on where you are. Plant your feet solidly on the ground, on the floor. Gently just rest your hands in your lap. Don't grip the chair or anything, your legs. Just let them, and drop your shoulders. Don't be all hunched up. Relax your shoulders. Try to take the creases as much as you can out of your forehead. And you don't have to close your eyes unless you want to. But I want you to breathe through your nose. Hold it, and then slowly breathe out. And I want you to feel the breath. Like you saw how my chest expanded. Don't cheat. Don't do that. No, I want you to really feel it. So we're going to do it again. Breathe in deeply through your nose, chest lifted. Don't concentrate on anything else around you. I just want you to concentrate on your breathing. Don't concentrate on what you have to do. Just concentrate on I need to breathe and my chest needs to expand. And we're going to do it one more time. Make sure you got it 3 times. A sure shot, right? Breathe in through your nose. Drop your shoulders. Expand your chest with your breath. And breathe out through your mouth and try to get as much air out as you can. I can't get it all out because I have asthma. So mine is not as long as some other people. And if you have asthma or breathing problems, you won't be able to get as much out, but get as much air out as possible. When you do that, you get oxygen going to your brain, to your cells in your body. And your body has a chance to kind of reset. Because every now and then we need a reset. And we need a reset during the day. I'm just saying. This isn't something you do willy-nilly. I need you to be intentional about it. When I have had pressure on me, I just sit, whether I'm in a car, wherever, and I just breathe. Can I tell you this will save lives? It does. And it doesn't matter, like you have to be in a space like no one's dying right now. You're not in danger, but you are in danger if you don't take care of your own mental health and wellness. What do you like to do? What makes you happy? We talk about mental wealth and because it is wealth, but mental health and wellness and our nails done. Yes, that's great. For those of you who have hair or you get your weave or you wear a wig, men getting yourself lined up and your massages, those are great. But I want you to think of those as added pleasures, right? Like that cherry on top. It's not the foundation, right? You have a car. I love cars, y'all, so I'm just saying. So you have a car. And you want to get stickers put on it. You want it to be a particular color, and the seats inside leather, had the Bose sound system, whatever it is. But that does not make the car run. That just makes it look pretty. That just satisfies you visually, right? But if you don't have that chassis that the car sits on, if that framing isn't strong, if your electrical mechanisms aren't connected and working, so that framework is our body. What are you feeding it? And that includes, what are you looking at and what are you listening to? Not just what you're putting and ingesting in your body. And then if you don't put the right gas in it, the food is our fuel. But you also have to take time to sleep. I know some of y'all gonna say, I only need 3 hours sleep. I only need 4 hours of sleep. Yeah, let's check with your body and see what your body really says. You may not get more than 4 hours of sleep because you're so wound up, or you might have a medical condition. That's true, absolutely. Or you might be on medication, but your body does need more than that. But how do you get there? Well, these are suggestions, okay? I don't diagnose. These are only for educational purposes, my information. I'm just saying. You don't have chocolate before going to bed. You don't have coffee before going to bed. Some evidence-based practices, you don't exercise before going to bed. Don't have arguments before going to bed. This here, right? This cheer, oh, that's my 2 sons. Look at that. This phone thingy, have it so that you have it on focus or silence during certain times when it's time for you to go to bed. Don't have major discussions before going to bed. Is it going to change anything right then? Usually whatever you want to do, the office is closed, you can't get to the person. So it can wait till tomorrow, table it until the next day. These are different things we can do to help us. You see that mental health, wellness, it encompasses so much, but it's really not very hard. We think it is. We make it seem like it's so hard. It's not. And it's just taking one step. And if you do that, you know what? I smoke a pack of cigarettes a day. I don't smoke, guys, but I'm just saying there may be some of you that do smoke half a pack or a full pack. Instead of saying I'm just dropping it and quitting it, some people can do that. How about you say each week you do 1 or 2 less? Now you're like, wow, instead of having 20 in a pack, I only did 19 this week. That's a win. Now to other folks, I ain't do nothing. Yes, it is. That's a doggone win. Let's stop saying what our wins. Oh, that's a small win. That's just a small win. But these are big wins. A win is a win. When the Knicks are winning, it doesn't go, oh, well, they only won by 1 point, or that was a little win. It's a win. When the Pittsburgh Steelers, look, y'all, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, easy, back up. When they win, it's a win. So why would we say your win is a little win? Why not just call it a win and accept it? And then add on to it. And add on to that win. So now the next thing you know, you're like, oh, I have that win over there. And guess what? I instead of having a whole slice of cake, I just took a little, as my grandfather used to say, a sliver, just a little piece of it. That's a doggone win. Because normally you'd want to eat the pie or you'd want to eat a big piece. Instead, you just took a small piece of the pie, but it's a win. So when you do something or you accomplish anything, give yourself credit for it and say it's a win. Can you do that for me? I asked you to do it for me, and I didn't hear y'all say, no, we can't. Your answer should have been no. I can't do it for you, Travis Michelle, but I can do it for myself. You see the difference? It's how we perceive it. It's how we turn it around. Let's turn our language around to a positive. Yes, absolutely. You need to do your affirmations. Yes, journal. Sometimes you can write stuff down, and then when you go back and read it, be like, ooh, yeah, okay, I won't be doing that. but you wrote it and you were able to vent and you didn't have to share that. I used to teach people, especially during COVID, and I'm going to go back to doing this again, like write down your pros and your cons, right? Then you're going to take that con list and you're going to either burn it, shred it, or bury it. Now you don't have to look at that again. See, what we do is we accomplish something, we're a better person, we're worked on something. We don't snap on people all the time because we're trying to be more conscious, right? And somebody will come along, yeah, you always did such and such, because they're not letting you grow. They're not seeing the change. And next thing you know, you're back in that position again because we've given them power. Part of mental health wellness also is reclaiming your power. If you say you can, you can. I would like to give credit to who says that, but I can't remember. The brain fog says no, you can't remember. But just know that it wasn't my quote. So I'm just saying. There's another quote by Maya Angelou says, they don't always remember what you said, but they remember how they made you feel. Well, I want you to apply that to yourself. You can't always remember what you said, but you know how it made you feel, how it made you feel about yourself. So why can't you say some positive things? Even if the only positive thing is, ooh, I got a cute nose. Okay, we'll start with that. We'll take it. Oh, I like my cute bow legs. All right, we'll take it. Oh, I have beautiful eyes. We'll take it. It doesn't mean you have to say every single thing. Yes, we should accept our bodies. Absolutely. But there's always tweaking. There's always things we want to work on. Lean into that. It's okay. We're so busy accepting everything that we're not saying stop taking time to appreciate things. Appreciate yourself. If you look outside in America, and you look at the grass, the trees, do you notice how there's so much greener? Yeah, if you didn't, I need you to go back and look at them. It's because we were inside. We weren't polluting, right? There wasn't, even the clouds, certain places had smog and fog and everything all over it, and it dissipated because we were in. So that means you're going to have more mosquitoes, y'all. I'm just saying, sorry. You're going to have more critters. Ooh, yuck. Yeah. Because they've been able to pollinate, they've been able to produce. So what are you producing? Positive energy. But it starts here. It starts with you. And I'm not saying it because I'm so, I've made it and I can just do it and I got all the answers. Absolutely not. No. I had to this morning send someone a text. And just be very clear, like, you know what? I had to really do some thinking. And this situation is starting to stress me. So I'm going to have to give you some distance. And it wasn't easy for me. But you know what? I am priority number one. So I had to set the boundary. But that meant I had to communicate it. Sometimes we have the boundaries and everything, but we're not very clear and we don't share it because of that communication. Mental health awareness. It's very important that we communicate how we feel. If you're calling a friend to talk, share. I'll use my daughter and I as an example. She'll say to me, Mom, I don't need you to fix it. I just need to vent. Because I used to try to fix it. Remember, I'm Travis Michelle, former people pleaser. So she would call, I want to fix it. And then she'd be snapping at me and not even getting out what she needed because I'm mommy. I'm trying to fix it for her. It's my baby girl. And so we learned, look, Mom, I just need to vent. That meant I had to be an active listener. Chomping at the bit sometimes because I wanted to say stuff, but I knew what she needed. And she trusted me enough that I would give her what she needed, which was, shush, mom, listen. And then when she was ready to talk about it and then say, okay, now tell me how you feel, she would let me know. Active listening starts with yourself. Actively listen to your body. Something ain't right. My heart's beating a little fast. Maybe you should go check that out. Right? You're feeling anxious about something. Why? You should go check that out. If you hear a sound in your house that you don't know, now some of y'all are going to go over there and check it out. Like you're going to go and try to talk to the person. Don't do that. But you know what I mean? You're not just going to sit there and go, oh, that's okay, I'm going to ignore it. Oh, I see the fire on the stove and I'm just going to ignore it. No, you're going to act. Mental health awareness is action. And take care of your sexual health as well. Ooh, but see, this is why we're on at 10 p.m. I keep it 100 because I can't be on like a morning show thing. Okay, I'm just saying. But that sexual health is important. It is. That's how we're made. We're human. And that means setting boundaries as well. That means taking care of yourself. That means knowing what makes you happy, not just someone else. Physically, going to the doctor, following up. Going to the doctor and then following what they say. And if you don't agree, get a second opinion, right? Finding that therapist. That's important because we talk about that. Oh, get a therapist. All therapists are not equal. I'm just going to say. Took me 3 times before I could find one therapist. Yeah, I had to go through a few. It was ugly, but I was determined. And sometimes it's like, it didn't work out with that one. That's it. You're not going to look any further. No, you just go to the next one. Because you have to find that person that you resonate with you and they resonate with you. You resonate with them and they resonate with you. If you are a believer in the Lord or you're a Buddhist, whatever it is, if you're religious, you might need to find somebody who will understand when you are quoting from, whatever, the Quran, the Bible or something. They understand that and not try to poo-poo it away. You might say that you want the female or you may want a certain race. That's okay. This isn't the time where we're trying to be politically correct. It's not. Your life is on the line. There may have been something in your past that you're not comfortable with a female, even though you're a female. That's okay. And it might be something in your family where I feel I need to have somebody who understands that culture. Even if they're not of that culture, they at least understand and have an understanding of it, right? The therapist I'm with now, they deal with cancer warriors. I don't need a therapist to sit there and try to solve my whole life. I need someone who understands that I am emotional and I'm not an emotional person, but I just start crying at the drop of a hat. I will break out in a sweat because I don't have hormones anymore. I get anxious 24 hours before I go to the doctor. I have to start talking to myself and preparing 24 hours ahead of time. And still, it's not a guarantee that I get into the doctor's office and don't break down crying. But they understand it. Certain feelings I have, I don't have to explain it and explain it and explain it because they have patients who are dealing with this and they can help me. And I use myself as examples. I throw myself under the bus, as they would say all the time, because I want you to see how tangible it is so that you come away with a clear understanding, right? And before we go, y'all, look, please stop saying you're so strong. Can we stop it? Because it allows us to beat up on ourselves and say that we're not strong because there's something we couldn't do or accomplish. Can we change it to resilient? For Travis Michelle, my strength is in the Lord. I get that from him. But I'm resilient. I'm going to bend. See, my braces. It's my braces. I'm going to bend, but I'm not going to break. As Les Brown says, I might fall, get knocked down, but I'm going to make sure I'm on my back. Because if I'm on my back, I can look up. If I can look up, I can reach up. I can get up. Words are important. Words are powerful. So I need you to start. If you haven't and you talked about it, every day is a new day. Love on you by forgiving yourself. Love on you so that you can forgive yourself, which leads to freedom. Take those action steps necessary for you. That may mean you have to tell some folks, no, yeah, I'm not gonna, you know what? I don't think this is going to work out, and walk away. Allow some people to leave and don't chase them back. That's me. I'm like, look, I like, if you're in my circle, I want you to stay with me. Sometimes you just got to let them go. It's ugly, but you have to for your own mental health. We need to let them go. Hi, Coach Crystal Henry. Thank you so much for coming in. Right? And that's okay. Because it's about you. There are people that I look in my circle now and I'm like, oh my goodness, where are these other people? But I was always the one running after them. I was always the one keeping in contact, checking on them. Right? When we care about people, it's reciprocal. Even if it's a text, it doesn't necessarily always mean you have to have a phone call. It doesn't mean you always have to be in my face. But a text, a phone call, a card, something, smoke signals. Because people who are for you, they will show up. And one other thing. When people show you who they are, let's start believing them. That's mental health wellness. I know it doesn't sound like it, right? But it is. Let's not make excuses for who they are. Nah, dog, I see you. That was you. You said you're going to do something and you don't do it. Right? Oh, Queen, that's what. Oh, so you can't share with me how you feel, but you're angry with me, but I didn't know. So I did the same thing again or said the same thing. But so now I'm responsible when you could have told me how you felt so that I wouldn't do it again. You know what I'm saying, huh? Take care of you. Love on yourself so that when you love someone else, it's from a genuine place. You are whole. Okay, we're beaten down a little bit, we're a little battered, a little raggedy. All right. Okay. You don't have to be crazy about yourself every day. No, we don't. When I wear my eyelashes, it's always like one eyelash that wants to do its own doggone thing. You look at your body and we think that we're the same. One side is bigger than the other. There's always something, right? Love on you and kick butt unapologetically. Oh, okay, I'm a little spicy. That's who I am. That's what makes me special. That's what makes you special. Oh, well, I'm not as outspoken as someone else. Okay. But there's things that you do behind the scenes that other people can't do. It's about accepting who you are. It doesn't mean you don't change for the better now. It just means accepting who you are and then say, what can I do better? And then when I start and you do even something that is just one step, it's not small. It's still a win. Because it's yours. Guys, I'm just excited. Thank you so much for being here tonight with us. Remember that Mental Health Month is every day. I'm going to do my best to actually just throw up quotes or say something positive, on my social media. Join me over on Instagram at Travis Michelle, LinkedIn at Travis Michelle. I'm going to be working on a newsletter coming out. I have Late Night with Travis Michelle every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm working on just people's schedules. It's kind of busy. And I'm going to have some mental health specialists coming on just so that they can give us some more tools. We can't have too many tools, all right? Because our mental health and our peace, we need to fight for that with everything that we have. Okay? Don't half do it. We need to fight for it with everything that we have. So until next week, I will see you later. But you know how it goes. I can't leave without it. I know you want me to say it, don't you? I'm Travis Michelle. That's right. Too much for some, not enough for others. Your problem. But guess what? I'm always just right for me. You be just right for you. You be enough for you. So until next Wednesday, good night.